Hey everyone, we're back. I got another episode of Newcasting here, and it's turn 59, and I'm here with Saq.
Hello, everybody. Let's get into it.
Yeah, so we've kind of caught up. In other words, we haven't caught up to where they are in the game, but we've caught up to the upload schedule. So we had this big buffer of videos we recorded that hadn't made it up, but from here on out, the time we recorded it's going to be very close to when you're seeing it. And
I
we have
thought
a
you were going to say they caught up to us, but
oh yeah.
but this is past them, I guess.
They've caught up to the viewers have caught up with us, but we have
That's
not caught
true.
up with the players.
That's true.
And what the game's actually pretty far progressed, and so what we're going to try to speed up the way we're casting. And so we're just going to kind of take a look around the map at the beginning of each episode and kind of talk about where players are, and then kind of look at battles as we follow a thread and maybe not do as much analysis. So, there's not a lot of movement on the map. What we basically see here on the Marignan front is there's a big army on top of one of these forts, and Marignan has positioned his army out this way.
Yep, I don't remember the exact position from the turn before this, but this is. I'm expecting a large kind of final battle here
Right,
on this front.
right. And then on this front, on the Almash front, there's basically a build up, and then here with Bogarus, it's basically a Cold War again after the failed Bogarusian invasion.
Yeah, Bogarus is chilling on the southern front, but Ulm and Marignan are equally stacked up. And also, we should mention, looks Ulm also has a big pile on his throne too. If we just
Right,
go a little bit to the east, so and Marignan kind of has an army there, so
right.
there's a large buildup.
And then the other big players in the game, like Raga, has a bunch of troops kind of positioned, some in the core land, and then a lot on this Atlantis front. Meanwhile, Atlantis does not have very much over here. Instead, Atlantis has stuff over here where he's gone and taken these thrones and gotten a pretty big foothold, kind of in the Gath, basically in this land, and is potentially threatening. So it's kind of odd. Like Raga is threatening the northern part of, well, like he's Raga's threatening this part of Atlantis, and then Atlantis is threatening this part of Raga.
In fact, just looking at the map now, no spoilers, but well, spoilers. I believe there's been a mono drop on one of the underwater thrones
Oh, I don't think I saw that. Which
from
one?
Atlantis. The throne, um, like,
Oh, here we go.
yeah, there. So it looks like that throne is like Mind Lord dude,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, an
Yeah,
aboleth.
he can be nasty because he's high astral, and when you send thugs, you just kind of often
Excuse
get
me.
killed.
Wheel of Fates. That's an interesting choice. But yeah, if this aboleth made a or if the Mind Lord, oh, he did make a water elemental. But if you send the Mind Lord in solo, water elementals would be what you're worried about.
You mean if you sent a monolith in solo?
Yeah,
Yeah, well, he brought in yeah, so it's not bad because he brought in a few guys to make water elementals.
right.
Um, Often monoliths are doing um, maybe memes with like meteors and stuff like that, but it's underwater.
This actually is starting to look risky. You do not want those water elementals. I think what's going to happen. I think he's going to lose this battle.
What's his blessed, by the way? Because it's Atlantis. It's not like
Well, he's going to be out of his dominion, so I don't think we're going to be able to see here.
oh, that's true. Did he
Oh,
self
it's
buff with
shattering
anything?
though. That's good, but it's too late. He's dead. Oh, maybe not. He's got to kill this one before this one gets there.
Well, the Indies kind of HP routed.
Oh, the Indies routed. Oh, that's so close. So, yeah, the Monolith takes the day. But he lost both the Forgiving Fathers he brought, and if he teleported them in, they probably had gear. Yeah, this one has 2 Dragon Pearls.
Three astral boosters.
Yeah. Rip. That was expensive.
A little expensive.
So this was over here.
Yeah, I remember Atlantis was kind of playing for some thrones here, so that'll have to build a lab before it can get out. But anyways, that happened. Yeah, so I guess what we're looking for in this episode is the resolution of, or the continuing of the various wars that Marigno was involved with, whether or not Raga attacks somebody.
Yeah.
And then what Utgard does.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's kind of like Raga and Atlantis looking for the win, and then like these guys are looking more at thrones, I think, and then Marignon, Ulm, and Bogarus are looking more at like land positioning, like
yeah, they're looking
gaining
at
territory.
killing each other. Yeah.
Okay, so we're on turn. What did we say? Why won't my thing pop up?
I think you cut out there for me for a second.
Okay, yeah, I took my hand off the key.
Okay, yeah.
Turn 59. Okay, so turn 60. Okay. It looks like Atlantis is getting hit by horrors. I don't think the horror apocalypse has started. So somebody cast Send Horror at him.
Actually, last turn I also saw a few horrors. So I don't know if somebody's sending horrors or what's going on there. Oh, we didn't mention a couple turns. First of all, that last turn somebody put up a global. I'm not sure which one it is, but if we look now, we can see that.
One second, I want to check what turn the Cataclysm's on 90. Yeah, so it hasn't started yet.
Okay, yeah. So last turn somebody put up a global and forgot to look which one it is, but Raga has both fire and death gem globals, and Utgard has nature.
If we take a look at gem income, oh shit, I forgot I can't see.
You don't have, unfortunately. But at the top of the messages is a very important message. If you look at the message from Bogarus.
Peace deal between Bogarus and Marignon. So that's good. So that means that this 3v1 is now kind of a 2v1. And let's walk around and see if there's any battles that are interesting.
I imagine...
Has this resolved up here?
Well, I think they must have
made peace
somehow,
before destroying each other's armies, yeah.
Yeah, that's probably what they decided, but they might have agreed to exchange some provinces. We're not sure yet. We'll have to see. Yeah,
it looks like this was agreed to go back to Bogarus, and so he took it with some occultists. I bet this throne play by Atlantis really drove home that these guys need to be careful about wearing each other down while Atlantis is going after thrones. That's my guess.
Yeah, and now I don't know if Bogarus and Marignon know this or saw this turn, but Raga has started to invade Gath.
Right.
And there's nothing really. These are like empty provinces. He's just fighting PD.
Right.
But I wonder if that factored into it. Marignon,
this is a lot
it's
of
obvious he would take
coming down here. So
yeah, Marignon would take the deal. Marignon would take the peace deal, no questions, right? Because he's fighting.
Right.
But why? Like, what is Bogarus gonna do if he's not fighting Marignon? That's what I'm interested in. Because if he's not fighting them, he's
if he's keyed up from Atlantis, He definitely can fight Atlantis if he wants to. He has a huge
Yeah,
border.
but he could also fight Raga.
Yeah, he could also fight Raga too. So, I
Which one would you go for?
mm, I think by this time in the game, I think the matchup Bogarus versus Raga is Bogarus favored. Like the fact that you have cap only sacreds isn't really that big of a deal. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know what we don't really know the exact tech that Bogarus has, but he's probably the research leader. Bogarus certainly has the potential to be the research leader in any game. Um,
Yep.
so I think he would win major pitched battles against Raga. I think he would win at this point. Atlantis is harder because I don't think does Raga have Wailing Winds access?
I don't think natively they do, but they have a Rainbow Pretender, so I mean they're not going to bring in the Pretender, but
They do. This guy
oh
can sort of
shit,
cast it.
yeah, sort of.
Um, and this guy can cast it. Okay, so it's ubiquitous because this guy
Yeah,
can do blood communion.
yeah,
So,
with some communions they could do. Oh, interesting. So I didn't know that, huh? Yeah, that's a
um,
problem.
so it's hard to
But
say because I that's always like a major variable in human battles.
yeah,
Um,
although human communion Wailing Winds is not. It's easier to disrupt.
right.
So yeah. Anyways, I just
Yeah.
as I mentioned that. Is there any? Yeah,
I
I don't think there are any major battles here to look at.
yeah. We'll we'll just click through these real quick, make sure we didn't miss anything. Oh, fallen angels are out, ravaging Ulm, which we've kind of covered the fallen angels before. So let's go ahead and go to the next turn, 61.
Yeah. I think the difference now is that he feels free deploying them against because he's not like in a 1v5 or whatever it was.
Right. And then we'll just
More
click through these,
horrors.
see if there's any big
Jeez.
battles. Which so far we don't really see. But I don't think. I mean, so basically, what we have Raga invading Gath.
Oh well, there has been a big battle, but Ulm has made a move from his throne province. He's moved his big stack onto that Marinese fort.
Right.
So
take a look at
we
this
do
army.
expect to see a battle there. He just fought like 1 PD, but we
Right.
can see his formation.
Ghoul Guardians in the back probably to deal with fallen angels. That's pretty good. So, Marion's been basically running around hitting the back lines with fallen angels, like provinces he doesn't really expect them to go to. And then he's got a huge stack here.
And with sailing, he can probably get. He had a big army in that province that's in the fort.
Right.
And he could probably reinforce, so he might not even have to fight this turn.
He has a ton of Hydromancers here. I want to see what he's got. Does he have water gems on him? No. Oh, some of them do. Okay.
Oh yeah, because that fort is a throne of water that he came from.
Right.
So he was just recruiting a bunch of them.
And that could make the difference. I mean,
AoE, yeah, AoE
30
like water evocations is.
Oh, I think the
nasty
water
against
gems are for
humans.
water elementals. 30 water elementals
Yeah.
can swing the tide of combat.
Well, let's see if we get a fight.
Huh?
I was gonna say, let's see if we get a fight.
Yeah, let's go ahead and go to the next turn. 62.
Another global.
So let's see what happens down here. 62. If I can go to the right spot. Where are you? Here we are. Okay, the
Looks
fort isn't
like-
popped, so he's hanging out. Marignon is putting some of these forts under check with the Fallen Angels.
Yep.
And then Ulm is retaking some of this. Raga is continuing to eat Gath. We see...
Oh shit, Marignon put up Blood Vortex.
Oh, nice.
I
I
wonder,
wonder where they
where.
cast it. Unfortunately,
How
we
would
don't
they
get to
cast
see
it?
it. Huh?
Did you say how would they cast it?
Oh, where?
Yeah, no, I really don't know. I guess you'd put it in Abyssia.
Yeah, that's exactly where you would put it.
Or like whatever that fort to the Towen, like 101 northeast of there, that fort maybe.
Or this one might be. Well, this would destroy 2 of your good farmlands, but I don't know. It's hard to say.
Yeah.
You can
That's
always do the thing where if you go into somebody, like if somebody already has a lab somewhere in their lands hidden, and you find out where it is, you can like go attack it, and then same turn, if the guy who attacked it, which like in Marignon's case would be a fallen angel, just drop it next turn.
You mean cast it in the middle of their lands and then run away?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess you only need the caster to live. You don't need the province.
Yeah.
That's interesting. It's a bit of a dick move if he just pieced out with Bogarus and now he's blood vortexing.
I mean, he could do it like here. Like this would be the perfect province actually to do it. Fly over here, hit Raga, drop this shit, pull out. Got a lab there. Okay. But to do it, you basically are going to need high blood super combatants that can run in and.
Speaking of high blood super combatants, I spy with my little eye Poseidon, Father Illerth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cruising around. Looks like he was trying to intercept some Ulmish forces.
I think he's just positioning to go break that siege next turn. You see, he's reinforces capital. All that shit's gonna sail over. So we might have a nice battle.
You know what we haven't seen a ton of is vampires. I'm kind of wondering where the Ulm vampires are.
Yeah.
Because the idea with Ulm, I mean, the thing, like, you're never going to have vampires like you used to, where you could just spam out infinite vampire counts. But you still, I mean, you have a strong blood economy, and I think the idea is you still probably want to get pretty heavy into vampires by the late game.
Yeah, because the vampires are like, it's like free high quality rating.
Yeah.
I think. Now, Ulm has been pretty small this whole game, so he might not have actually had the opportunity to get his blood economy going.
Right. And when you're this small, blood hunting really does hurt your income.
Feels bad. Feels bad, man. Okay. Well, let's see if we get that battle next turn.
Okay, making sure we didn't miss anything. So turn 63. Yeah. You know, it's kind of funny reflecting on this a little bit too. Sometimes you get where there's not actually much that happens in the late game, but turns still take a long time.
Oh shit!
Somebody was busy mind hunting. Look at this.
No, not only that. Look at the who's fighting who in the messages. Yeah. All right, guys.
Buckle down. It's probably going to be the last turn for this episode.
Yeah, probably.
This is going to take a while.
Let me just check quickly what the global is. Another global went off. Sea of Ice. Raga has put up Sea of Ice.
Yes. The
Very
great
clever.
FU Atlantis spell.
Why don't let's ignore this whole Raga Atlantis thing. Let's see if we can wrap up our narrative thread here from Marignon and Ulm and see if there was a battle there.
Okay. That's a good idea. Oh my gosh. Now this is dangerous. Because Ulm has enough Astro Mages where you have to be nervous about using super combatant. It's not a ton. It doesn't mean you can't. But it's enough where you should be nervous.
Yeah. Now, and he didn't give Poseidon anti-magic ring. Now he might be casting anti-magic, but he's only got a base 18.
18.
So that's pretty touchy. I feel pretty comfortable usually with like with an AM ring, you're at like low 20s, and then you buff anti-magic and you're in like mid 20s. That's usually pretty safe, but
it depends what you're up against. If you're up against, like, honestly, if you're up against like a reasonably large astral communion, which I think this cat like technically qualifies. I don't know how many astral masters he has, but
so the thing that makes this less scary is that there aren't high path astral mages, and he also doesn't seem to have any pen gear on either the
but
bless
still, if
or
there's like 8 casters, there's no amount of MR that's going to save you. We'll see. You may be right. So the army, I think, has basically been crushed on the Maryland side. Did this guy die? No, he just jumped. Oh, Gifts of Heaven. Interesting. And that wasn't Phoenix Pyre Death. Now, the all-important question is, what the hell are these mages casting? Oh, no. You know what happened, Saq?
fire explosion in the back.
No, I mean, I think... No. I'll show you. Guess who all the slaves are. This is one of the mistakes people make. That's one of the things you know you're in a newer game. Like, guess who are going to be the slaves? All the astral ones are slaves, right? And then he's like, oh, I'm going to do skelly spam with all these fortune tellers.
He might not have wanted to do skelly spam, but that is something the AI loves to do.
Well, I mean, both. But, like, he's intentionally selected all of his death randoms. Like, she is not a death random. She's an astral random, so he made her a slave. Astral random slave. Astral random. So he's got one astral random master. This guy's a master with blood. But basically all the death ones were. The problem with that is... Horde Skeletons is a high fatigue spell, and it's going to be off path, so it's going to zap the shit out of the fatigue on the slaves, 1. And then 2, if you know he's maybe going to be using super combatants, you don't really want Horde of Skeletons.
Yeah. Well, he might have not known that, but even so, even though it seems like your community is balanced because you figure, oh, I've got like 8 masters and 8 slaves, if the masters have paths that aren't the ones that your slaves have, it's really going to kill the fatigue. But it depends, because you have to be, and this is why it makes a difference when you've played a lot. You learn what spells the AI likes to cast,
right? Based
on the path. And if you have a death mage, they love Skella spam, which is a good thing. That's usually what you want your death mages to do. But I think in this case, he wanted astral spells being cast, not Skella spam. So the communion dies.
Yeah. Is it dead already?
I mean, it's...
No, they're 37, so it's not dead yet. But it's about to. 37. 64. Oh, earthquake. That's interesting. That may have fucked up the ratio a little harder. The next round of combat.
You know, earthquake
163. Ooh, that went up from like 60 to 163 in a round.
Yeah.
I think they're down to like not many slaves.
Marignon, this whole game has really been into the whole battlefield damage spells. Remember, he was doing blood of whatever, and we even
Bloodletting.
criticized. Yeah, we even criticized him because he was also bringing a huge human army to do it with. So I'm not at all surprised that he's doing Earthquake here.
Right. Yeah, but then he ended up showing us astral healing with bloodletting.
Which was a pro move.
Yeah. But yeah. So now the communion, I think, is completely dead. 0 magic boost. So, and now they're completely vulnerable to super combatants, and now it's over. So, this was a fight when when we pulled it up, I was looking at it, and I was like, there's no way Marignon's going to win this. Like, when you look at the troops that came. Because, a lot of times you look at things, and it's like, there's multiple questions. There's like, did you bring the right stuff? And then did you script the stuff you brought in the right way?
Correctly, yeah.
And in this case, Ulm brought the right stuff, but he didn't script it right.
So he had, if I look at the report here, he had 9 fortune tellers and 7 illuminated ones. Like, so this was like this is like 8 masters, 8 slaves.
Yeah.
So that's going to boost that's like a 4 magic boost communion. So, and his biggest astral mages are basically astral 2. So we're looking at astral 6. Of course, you could, if you brought gems, you could you could Light of the Morning Star. You can make that astral 7, right. Maybe astral 8. So in terms of Soul Slay, which is an astral 3 spell, he, without any gem usage, he'd be looking at like a +3. He'd be like 3 paths above. Maybe he can get up to like 5 paths above. If you had boosters, maybe 6 paths above. But so I'm saying this because that's how you can determine what the MR check is going to be. And so Marignon...
Well, the communion bonus doesn't go into the MR check, I don't think.
No. But like if I wasn't... But do you get a penalty? Like suppose I was just an S1 mage and only due to communion mastery am I able to cast Soul Slay?
Yeah.
Do I get a malice to MR check?
So I think you just cast a normal Soul Slay. But I'm not 100. Somebody will put in the comments if I'm right. I'm pretty sure that was the rule, though. It used to be that you would get a pin bonus, so you could have like a huge communion powering you, and you would get these huge penetration bonuses. But I think they got rid of that, and so now you don't get penetration bonuses from communion levels.
Oh well, interesting. Well, in that case, because right now his super combatants were not really buffed well for MR. This is from Marignon's part, which is a problem. But if that's the case, then the normal MR check is what, 12?
Yeah.
Like, those super combatants with an MR ring are at like 22. So that's 10 above on the rolls.
Right.
And then if you cast anti-magic, which he could have, you'd be at like 26, so you'd be at like 14 above. So if you only have 8 astral casters, even in a long fight, that's very unlikely to land. Like I'd have to do the math real quick, but
I mean, it's going to be about 1%, probably like maybe 1 to 2% a cast.
I think it's less than that. It's my gut feeling. We'll do the math. I'll do the math for you guys, and maybe next episode we can confirm for you guys.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to lead you astray, but
I mean, I'm just speaking more from practice. If I have a communion that I've set up to deal with super combatants, very rarely will, like an astral communion, because I'm having small nightmares of the Zabalba game where I had a Sabbath communion set up to deal with it, but it didn't deal with it well. But astral communions, when they are set up to deal with super combatants, they typically don't let you down. It is very, very hard because you think about it, like over the course of like a 60 turn battle, 8 guys are gonna spam out um like
Well, 8 times.
480
Yeah.
soul slays potentially, like 8 masters. That is a lot. That is a lot to face tank. Now the first ones, if they're with an army, are not going to go to the super combatants. The only the soul slays will start going to high MR super combatants once everybody else is dead.
Yeah. So it might be more like
Right.
you can shave off like 10 turns maybe
Right.
or whatever. Yeah.
But in this case, I said Ulm didn't script it right, which they didn't. But it didn't matter, and I didn't realize this until like we like fast forwarded to the end. The Marignon army HP routes, and the Fallen Angel does not have a Flesh Eater. In general, you want Flesh Eaters on your Fallen Angel. So, especially if you're going to put them with an army. Because the idea is they die and blow up and all this stuff. But if the army dies, they'll just... And they're flyers, so they can't even get trapped. Like, if they get tired of a fight, they just fly away.
Yeah.
So, Flesh Eater.
However, if we look at the battle report, even though Marignon lost, they inflicted way more damage on Ulm than they suffered. They lost, like, Marignon lost a couple of mages. I mean, the Adepts of the Silver Order are slow to recruit, kind of cat tier mages, but now that communion is destroyed.
Right.
So if there's a follow-up fight, there's nothing here for Ulm to... Like, I mean, you could solo this with the
thing
Bugger
that is shocking to me is that they're still fighting each other at this point. Because there's been... Nobody has made a compelling demonstration that they're going to be able to take the other person's capital. Like, I could understand Marignon with Bogarus kind of piecing out. They now get essentially a 1v1 now. So,
I think that's interesting. I think Marignon feels that he's been doing like he suffered some losses, but he's generally like won the war of attrition and come out ahead in enough of these battles that if only he didn't have to have all his big armies also fighting Bogarus. Like now he feels, oh, now that I have peace with Bogarus, I can finally turn the tide.
Right.
And wipe out Ulm. I suspect that's what Marignon feels. I don't know what Ulm is thinking. Things are only going to get worse for him now that Bogarus isn't fighting Marignon anymore. He has to expect that.
Yeah. It could be.
But, I think that's what...
But this is not the kind of fight... Like, this would discourage me if I were Marignon. It wouldn't make me think, like, oh, I'm losing the war, because, like, he kind of won the trade. But given the game state that Raga and Atlantis are kind of running away with things, like, you can't afford to barely win a war. Like, you need...
Yeah.
This is too expensive.
Except... Yeah. I think it also could be, sometimes people just don't want to peace out. Like maybe Marignon has offered to Ulm many times to peace out because Marignon just wanted to like go kill Utgard or something, and Ulm's just like, no, I'm gonna get you.
Yeah, that sometimes happens, and that's more like that somebody like a person is stubborn. But oftentimes the reason that happens is because there's a land mix-up. Like somebody's won some land from somebody and they don't want to give it back.
Yeah.
But that hasn't even really happened here. It's basically been... Like, there's been no forts that have traded hands.
No, there has. That one fort that Ulm has this huge stack on, that used to be Marignon.
Oh, this one... No, but this is Marignon's.
No. The other one where there wasn't a fight. That one. That used to be Marignon.
Oh, okay.
Early in the war, he took it.
Okay, I don't even remember that far back. Okay, so that could be... a grinding point then.
And like Ulm doesn't want to give anything up.
Yeah, if I were Ulm, I wouldn't give shit up.
Oh, now actually, I just noticed.
Yeah, no. I was about to segue into this. Another reason why maybe Marignon's feeling a little hopeful about this, but somebody has moved on top of Ulm's throne.
Yeah. So, Atlantis really going for the throne play here.
Right. It's like, oh, you guys have been killing each other's armies for each other, for like 10 turns. Thank you. I'm gonna come in and yoink this. Okay, I'm gonna let you take a look at this, Saq and I. We've got, I forget how many. I think it's like 6 of these guys, and these guys have death gems. Aircaster with Crystal Shield, Deathcaster. This guy's probably Stygian Reigns. This guy's Wailing Winds.
Do I have to look at this? I mean, it just makes me cry looking at all the Wailing Winds.
Yeah, probably double Wailing Winds in case something bad happens to the other one.
Is that a Queen of Air back there?
Queen of Air for Fog Warriors or Mass Flight. Okay, so now that we've seen all of this garbage,
is that the Holy 4? Was that does he have construction 8 with a Holy boosting item?
No, I think there's a hero that's
oh, okay.
Holy 4,
just a hero.
The once and future queen.
Yeah, no kidding.
Okay, so now, is there a chance
for Alm to beat that army?
Yeah, like, unfortunately, he one turn popped it.
Yeah, given the current map and the layout of Alm's troops, there's zero chance.
Zero chance.
Zero
okay,
chance.
Now fast forward, because let's say Alm pieces out and then he moves his big stack to his capital.
Yeah, can
this army take it? Crossbows. All is fucking every single mage.
It's the mages that have to do it. The crossbows are going to be pretty ineffectual because he has air magic, so we'll assume he has arrow fend up. Now, Alm, the Zweihanders and the two-handed weapon dudes actually hit hard enough to inflict chip damage. Now, I didn't see a nature caster, but honestly, what turn is it? 60-something? It's possible Atlantis hasn't quite diversified enough to do mass regen. Oh, but he has a gnome, so there's probably mass regen there.
Let's see if we can find the gnome. I mean, that would be the reason why you would bring a gnome. I don't know. I can't find
Well, Earth, he doesn't have great native Earth access either, so could be Earth.
Can you see him?
Nope.
Maybe they've spread out now. We can find him. I want to see what gear's on him. Oh, I know how to do it.
Yeah, good call.
Nature. So Thistle Mace, Crystal Heart.
Water Weaving to move him across. Yeah, he's clearly
this is mass regen.
Nature.
That's what this is.
Okay, so with mass regen, I think the only hope you have is gifts from heaven, those types of spells.
Yeah.
Now I don't know. Can you think of a vampire mini thug build that would stand up to those kinds of troops?
I mean, you have death mages, right? The Ingacock. So if any of these are on advance and cast spells, you're fucked. For vampires, as a thug.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough, but maybe.
And there's green lions too, so forget. This is going to be hard to thug.
I mean, you could thug against ice guards. They're nasty, but they don't.
Yeah, but this army is beyond. This is not just a troop army, right? There's 21 Forgiving Fathers.
No, this is
Queen of Air Elementals. There's 7 green lions, and then death mages. It's not gonna happen.
No, I think. I mean, it's also not a fair comparison because Alm is a tiny nation and doesn't have all the research.
Right.
But if Alm was a real, if Alm was as developed and it's the same size, then I think the tools of choice would be rituals. I'd be spamming the remote assassination rituals, because he can do blood and death. And then you have to do some kind of.
I think his one hope is that. Shit. That looks like...
There's a lot of astral too. I mean,
seeing
you
how
could
many have
trade
mages.
favorably with
I think
like
he has Will of
sacrificing all
Fates,
your
too,
astral mages
I was saying.
in magic duels.
Yeah, he could potentially magic duel. I don't think Ulm has... He's lost too many. Before, he would have been able to magic duel a lot of these, but I don't think he has enough mages anymore to magic duel them. Because you would... To kill 20, you would need to magic duel at least 40 times.
And it's 1 to 2. Like his Ulm's guys are S1, whereas most of those
Right.
Atlantis ones were S2. But it feels bad, but
mass
actually,
bloodletting is maybe an option.
Yeah. Maybe.
But mass bloodletting is one of the things, it very rarely works. Like, even the times we've seen it, and even when we've seen it kind of work effectively, it was never, like, devastating. And these guys are going to have regen, so you have to kill them very quickly, or they're going to regen back up.
I mean, I would even consider, like, you could do in the same turn, because, okay, so here's the thing. Magic Duel is going to happen on the first turn. And after that, you kind of, I mean, if you're rich, you could put 2 astral gems and do it twice. But a lot of those gems are going to be wasted. You can't do bloodletting like on the first 2 turns, because then it's going to interrupt and kill all your magic duelers.
Yeah.
But you need a bit of boost. But I would go, honestly, if you could throw, now Ulm can't do it, but if you could throw like 40 S1 magic duelers and then like bone grinding,
Maybe. Yeah, maybe.
That wouldn't win you the fight, but that would kind of cripple that army. And then you might be able to hit it with like a mass conventional.
You know, the other option is just a huge Hellpower Bomb. I think that Hellpower Bombs almost never work, and then Atlantis has a ton of magic weapons, which are good against Tars. But if you do a Hellpower Bomb big enough, long enough, so that you get maybe like 20 or 30 Hars, that might be able to kill that. Maybe.
So this is one of the situations where
this is like you're reaching the very bottom of the desperate bag barrel.
Yeah, but people watching this are going to think, well, yeah, like it's so unfair, it's so overpowered. I mean, in some sense, yes. Late Age Atlantis is a very strong nation because they have access to all these strong spells, because their base troops are super strong, and because their mages are super strong. They're not like flimsy human mages, so they're immune to a lot of things. Like, if this was a human army, you'd just, like, Murdering Winter it or whatever, like, flames from the sky. But you can't really do that here, which forces you to really try to come up with crazy solutions.
Well, and smaller nations are going to generally struggle to do Murdering Winter and Flames from the Sky very much. They can cast it, like, once or twice, you know?
Yeah. And you need to cast it like 3 times in the same turn to have any impact on a massive army like that.
So I think this army can probably take every single province almost if it wanted to.
Yeah, but he just wants the thrones, because currently Atlantis has 5 thrones, and that would be throne number 6, and you only need 7 to win.
And he's fighting Raga now, so I guess this is a good time to shift to the Raga War.
Yeah.
So on this front, Vampire Lord from Raga raiding dies. Let's actually watch that. It looks kind of interesting. Slow Vortex, Horde of Skeletons.
What kind of
Horde
gear?
Of Skeletons. Reinvigoration.
No gear.
Reinvigoration.
Barb PD. Wow, those barbs are stubborn.
Yeah. How much PD was that? Damn. That is something I would have expected the vampire to win. So. And this is just light rating. More vampire rating. Zidaean rating. Lots of, or a fair amount of PD.
Oh, with a diva. Let's click on her. See how she's. See how he's kitted her out. No kit.
Okay, so living fire.
I see a
vulnerability
little
and stuff.
Atlantis Wraith Lord thug with a, not in this battle, in another battle here. Flesh Eater, Vine Shield, Quickness Boots, Ring of Regen, Burning Pearl.
Okay, I think I found him. Yeah. The conflict with Wraith Lords always is like, do you do them naked so that you don't care if they die? Or do you put gems on them? They're a lot better with gear, but
then the whole thing about them being immortal,
yeah,
is you kind of want to throw them away. It's tricky to use them.
I think it depends on how good of players you're playing against too. I think versus like really good players are going to have a much higher chance of killing them with Soul Slay than less good players. And in that case, there's actually more of an incentive to put gear on them because there's less chance that Immortal is going to work. So it's kind of weird.
Yeah. Even though that sounds like, oh, they're more likely to die, but it's like you need them to be more effective when they're alive.
Right. Like, you're not going to get like 6 deaths in like a game with pretty experienced players with a Wraith Lord.
Yeah. And the other thing is, if they're doing a big communion for Soul Slay, then you're screwed. But if they've just got a few Astral Mages, then an MR trinket minimally will go a very long way. Now, there was actually a bit of a battle. Oh my
gosh.
Oh, there's 2 big battles. So, well, yeah. Oh, okay.
Okay, so in this case, we have Cold. I don't know if it's Cold 3. But it's almost like Atlantis forgot that he's fighting flyers.
Yes, that's exactly what it looks like. Now, to be honest, yeah, he kind of just didn't script this correctly.
Yoink. Now, okay, this is tricky though. I'm not 100% sure what I'd do, because on one hand, there's enough mages where you could put most of these guys on guard commander, have some of them run in and fight, and you would have enough HP left on the field that after the guys who ran in and fight died, your main group wouldn't be routed. Problem with, and this is kind of interesting, right? Because like on one hand, guard commander and kind of have like a little death box in the back, but there's a Thunderstrike communion back here. And they are not going to be terribly upset if you put all your guys in one big box.
Well, this is turn 1 of a war, so honestly, I don't think either player knew exactly what they were going to face.
Right.
When they were attacking. So at minimum, you got to be kind of... It's tricky. You have to have a deployment that's going to be good for all situations. We're judging because we know that there's a Thunderstrike communion, but he might not have known that. He might not have known there was a Yadens. But what you have to think is, okay, I'm going to attack into a medium Raga army. I mean, Thunderstrike communion may or may not be there, but for sure flyers are going to be there.
But I mean, what is this going to kill? Like, this is obviously overbuilt from Atlantis to kill PD.
Yeah, he probably saw an army there.
Right. But this is underbuilt to fight basically any Ragan army.
I think either the intel, like Raga might have moved an army in here, because I agree. I wouldn't take this fight. Like if I had the intel on the units, I don't think there's a script that beats that.
I mean, we knew there was all this Raga stuff down here, though. So, like Raga's been militarizing this whole thing with Zayedans. Okay, wait. There's another fight.
There's another fight where Raga loses. Actually, Raga, smaller armies. Raga attacks into, let's see, in Dead Forest.
Okay, some guard commander, but they're still a little vulnerable. A lot more troops, and they've got the big glaive dudes here for the most part. Okay, and they don't make the attack rear.
See, I think attack rear might have won this fight. Or actually, it should not be attack rear. It should be attack large monsters.
Should be attack what?
I think you should do attack large. Because I mean, so Atlantis isn't doing it.
I think you have to be size 5 for large to flag you, right?
It's 4, if
Is
I
it?
remember
You
correctly.
sure? You could be right. I heard 5.
So what Atlantis is not doing, but they should be doing, is in addition to having dudes on guard commander,
Yeah.
you need to have a sacrificial blob of people in the far back,
Yeah.
so that attack rear goes and kills those guys first. So that gives you like 2 or 3 more rounds of combat before the attack rear gets on your commanders, on your mages. Because Atlantis has size 4 commanders, I'm fairly certain, we'll double check, but or somebody in the comments can correct us, but I'm pretty sure that attack large monsters goes on size 4 or above.
Yeah.
So that would be the correct script here for Raga, to make sure he goes after the commanders and not the random bait squad in the back.
Yeah. Also, nitpick here, or not really nitpick. This is too big of a force for Atlantis to not cast Stygian Rains. Every single one of these cat mages can do Stygian Rains. And
Yep, agreed.
it's just going to make a huge, huge, huge difference. So, like, it helps against the trample. It's not going to help against the Thunderstrike stuff. But we can take a look at the battle report and see what percent. These guys killed 18. Oh man, okay. So all of the deaths came from Thunderstrike. None came from. So Stygian Rains wouldn't have actually helped. Am I reading this right?
Yeah, it looks like there were some deaths. The only things the Aidens killed were the PD.
Yeah.
If there hadn't been PD, it's quite possible the Aidens would have engaged the Ice Guards and killed some of them, though. So I still think it is worth casting.
Yeah. So one of the big questions that I think Atlantis is going to have to deal with in this Raga fight is how do they deal with Thunderstrike communions or Thunderstrike in general? Do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's a little awkward. I think you have to. So one thing you can do is, it's tricky because on the one hand, the best defense against attack rear Aidens is a big blob with the mages at the center and like concentric rings of chaff, right?
Right.
But that's kind of what you don't want for Thunderstrike.
Yeah, the 1-2 punch.
I mean, I think you have to get like Will of the Fates out.
Yeah, that was exactly what I was thinking.
You have some astral, right, as
yeah.
Atlantis?
Yeah. And Raga is
Yeah.
not really an astral powerhouse by any means, so you don't have to worry about. You know, Atlantis has astral mages, but they're pretty vulnerable to magic duel.
Yeah, but you're right. That's not going to come from Raga. It'd be very unexpected.
Right.
Yeah, I think Will of the Fates is the call here.
Yeah.
And also,
I mean, Thunderfin is nice if you can get it.
yeah, well, he should have that too. I mean, if you have, because he has air mages, although it's a little harder to boost air, but that should be doable. I mean, he has an air queen, for God's sake, so he should be able to do it. I think you can also do. Geez, I'm wondering, like, stuff like, was Raga doing Storm? I guess he probably
No,
is.
I don't think so.
Because I was thinking one of those spells that penalizes precision even more. There are other, like, not
Yeah.
Storm. You don't want to cast Storm for him, like, but maybe like Mists or whatever it's called.
Oh, yeah.
Something like that.
Mist is one, I think, and then
Yeah. And honestly, if he could, like, I think Atlantis should be deploying at forward. I think you probably
mean
want to
rush
have
them.
your mages as close as possible.
Yeah.
Because Raga is going to either fly to you or cast Thunderstrike. So, like, there's no point being further back. You want to be as close as possible to the front. And there's some pretty, like, so the Atlantis paths are water, and there's some good death in there. There are some great, and he has evocation, high evocation, because he went for it early, because you do that as Atlantis. There are some pretty nasty, like, cloud death and cloud water spells that if you have those mages on the front line and on advance and cast spells, they might very well get some of those air mages in one of the cloud effects.
Yeah, it's possible.
I don't think that
Makes me nervous, but I could see how that would work.
Well, because they're just going to stand there and do Skella spam? Like, Skella spam is not going to do great against the Yadens. It's a good buffer, but the idea, it's buffers until what happens, right? Like, I think
I think Atlantis is mostly going to win through buffing their troops and then hoping that they stay alive before the mages kill them.
Right. So exactly. So Atlantis is buffing their troops. So what do you want those mages to be doing after? Right now he's got them in the back just on cast spells. And I think if he has them in front on advancing cast spells, that's going to trigger a different set of magic, right? That's going to be more evocations, and I think that would do well against the Thunderstrike casters.
Yeah. I could see how that would work, but I mean the cost of doing that, why I was saying it makes me nervous, is you're just going to be eating Thunderstrikes to the face, because Thunderstrikes at close range are much more accurate. But yeah, I mean, it could totally be better. I'm not sure though. I think I'd have to see it.
Yeah, we'd have to see. Now, Atlantis might just be thinking, I just need one more throne to win the game. I don't have to fight Raga much longer.
Right. So which one is he going to go for? What do you think?
All right, let's look at the map here. Well, let's see which ones are still available.
Okay, so he's got this one. He's got this one. This one is the obvious one, right? Oh, what the fuck? It's not even guarded.
Yeah, that's really obvious. I mean, holy shit. And he's kind of like ready for it.
Man.
Ready, like Atlantis is kind of ready to pounce on that. Now, at the same time, he might be losing. Like, what thrones does he have that he might lose? Because spoiler alert, we know the game doesn't end in 3 turns, which it looks like it might. Honestly, just looking at this, like Atlantis is in a great position for a throne rush here.
Yeah, all he has to do is take this one. This is the only throne that's really in jeopardy, and it's under a huge fort. So. And there's nothing nearby that's going to siege it down in the next 5 turns. Yeah. I mean, especially if he has Air Queens, Cloud Trapeze and Air Queen on top of this. Wipe it out, move the army in behind it. That puts basically everybody on 1 turn notice. This is a shitty fort too. 250 wall strength.
All right, now I'm very curious to see how this turns out and why it doesn't turn out the way we all think it should in the next 3 turns or whatever.
So this was 63, right? So I guess we'll save 64 for the next episode.
Yeah, so thank you guys for joining us once again. We've got... So for the next episode, we're going to have to follow the... not resolution, but the continuation of the never-ending Marignan Ulm War.
Right.
See if the potential
the neighbor rush, blood feud.
Yeah, the potential throne rush from Atlantis, which Raga is trying to stop, and which, by the way, that might be what Bogarus is. Bogarus might be like, oh shit, he's going to win a throne victory. I got to do something.
Yeah.
And
he does have these undead here.
Sorry.
Bogarus has some undead on this border, who might have some aquatic dreams.
Yeah. All right. So see you guys next time.